Morning. It's Sunday and it's overcast, but it's comfortable. It's in the 70s, so it's pretty cool. I want to thank all of you who responded so kindly with us losing Homer. It's very hard to be stoic when a member of your family, and pets are as much a member of the family, though less expensive than children, spouses, relatives. But we miss Homer. Now, so many people have been concerned about Tiny, who was our last Jack Russell from the original litters, that we've gotten references for other Jack Russells. And yesterday, Holly went almost all the way to Tennessee to get ourselves a new Jack Russell. And I'll put up a picture of the guy. The thing that's most amazing about this Jack Russell is they're like little photons, little packets of energy. They just keep going. And we had gotten used to older dogs, quieter. So it's been an infusion of enthusiasm in the household. And it's in honor of Homer and the other animals that we've lost at what we call Ithaca Manor. Turning to the stories of the day, we have a great example of what we should do and we're not doing in terms of requirements. And I'm thinking right now about school, but it applies in other instances. All these children going back to school. There's a teacher in California who did not get vaccinated, and she was feeling sick, and she has a class of 24 students, and she took off the mask she did wear in the school to read a story to the children. Several days later, 12 of the 24 children came down with the virus. Vaccinate, 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 wear the mask, keep the distance. It's so obvious. And mandate it, require it. It's not optional. Seatbelts aren't optional. There are all sorts of safety things we do that have been proven helpful to us to preserve our welfare, and this has got to be one of them. I mean, we have so many statistics. It's not a theory, it's not a guess, it's true. So teachers, beware those who are unmasked and unvaccinated, and parents, they don't have the vaccine for children under 12, and frankly, if my daughter couldn't get a vaccine, we wouldn't even give a moment's consideration to going back to school. A child can catch up learning, but the child has to be here. And we can't risk a child being ill for the rest of its life because we were concerned they wouldn't get the 3 R's this year. And parents, we can teach them. We went to school ourselves. We know things. And no, it's not as good. I did teach high school, so I'm in somewhat of a bit different class. But if I were teaching courses I'd never taught or studied before, I wouldn't have the program that I used in those courses I did teach that I knew very well. So there's always that problem. But the most important thing is to keep our children safe. And if they're under 12 until they have a vaccination, you just can't trust the school system. And everybody can pile on me about how important it is, but our schools are not babysitters. And if that's the only reason you're sending a kid to school, you're making a big mistake. Sorry, I'm not a parent now. I don't have to live through it. I'm not a parent in the sense I don't have a child going to school. But if my daughter were of that age, she wouldn't be going to school. Now, what else do we have? Well, let me revisit the Supreme Court. It issued an edict that the CDC moratorium on evictions was no good. Breyer took the other position, but he was only leading a dissent of 3 votes. And it's ironic that I read today that in Washington, D.C., they had a program for people to become homeowners. But now, because of the pandemic, these people are going to lose the homes that were provided in this program. And, then there's a whole series of things that come about as a result of that, which is, food and job and things like that. They're all dependent on each other. And what we're doing is we're creating, I don't want to call it an underclass, but a socially deprived class of people who are supposedly in this with us together. So the Supreme Court has made a big mistake, but that doesn't surprise us when there's 6-3 presumed votes for idiocy and non-civilization. I get stronger memo to follow. Breyer is talking about how, as a member of the Supreme Court, he's not beholden to any party. And I agree with that, although he's been a strong Democrat his whole life. The thing that concerns me about the debate about Breyer is everybody assumes we will get the mini-me version of Breyer and be as safe with whomever younger replaces him as if we have him. Has anybody looked at the Congress lately? Who is that guy that could pass Congress that would replace him? And think again, do you really believe if it happened that Breyer was the one leaving the court, we'd want Garland instead? Not I. I've seen who Garland is now, and I wouldn't want him to be the one replacing Breyer. So I think we have to be smarter about our impulses to recommend courses of action to associate Supreme Court justices, for example, and stand with them and look to fill the vacancies left by Republicans, not by people who, though not of a party, are Democrats. And then I was very excited about the demonstrations yesterday for the vote. Who wouldn't be? But what I'm not excited about is the spineless, worthless people in Congress that will not take the fight to the floor of the House and the Senate and demand those two worthless senators, Sinema and Manchin, do the right thing and at the very least vote against the cloture, the 60 votes required in order to set us on a path to have our elections full and fair. And here's the other thing. We, the people, are going to have to do it again. We're going to have to do what we did last November. We're going to have to crawl over glass to preserve our vote and the people that should be elected instead of those whose votes would be suppressed, denying us the people that we want to represent us. So that's what I have to say in my cathedral of trees on this Sunday. Hope you're well. And later today we'll have a podcast, John and I hope you get a chance to listen to it. All the best. Bye-bye.